from an all-new Dr. Phil. A mother acquitted of kidnapping.
When they searched the vehicle, was there a gun?
There was a gun. She said that she would kill my daughter and herself before being caught.
I did not.
Which parent?
Why'd you go on the run?
Because I feared for our lives.
Is telling the truth?
She threatened to kill our daughter and herself.
You threatened to kill her.
Our daughter
You
herself.
threatened that we would not make it to that court hearing alive.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, today we're talking about a story that made local headlines and spurred a manhunt for a mother on the run accused of kidnapping her then 4-year-old daughter during a custody dispute. Now, the mother, Laura, fled with the toddler across state lines from Pennsylvania to Ohio to Florida to Utah, where she was finally apprehended by U.S. Marshals. Now, Laura was charged with kidnapping to facilitate a felony, kidnapping to terrorize another, and interference with custody of children. But, surprisingly, she was acquitted of all charges. Now, Laura says her estranged husband is the one committing a crime by withholding their daughter from her. In fact, since their time on the run, she hasn't seen her child, and get this, it's been 4 years. But Joe says he has good reason for withholding that child. Take a look.
Laura had threatened that she would kill my daughter and herself. She threatened to go on the run multiple times. She bought a handgun and she started to threaten killing herself various times, shooting me various times. Whenever she started to threaten to kill my daughter, that's when it became something that I couldn't accept. The custody hearing, she didn't show. At that point, I didn't know if I would ever see my daughter ever again, let alone alive. My worst fear is that she would be killed by her own mom. I got a phone call, Sergeant Jim Phelps from United States Marshals, and he said, "We have rescued your daughter." I was ecstatic. I was relieved. According to Sergeant Phelps, he said that the living conditions in the vehicle that Laura had kidnapped my daughter in were just deplorable. There was this urine smell. My daughter was just in this small, confined space, which led to my daughter getting a very, very severe sinus infection. He did find her gun in the vehicle. When we were reunited, I was ecstatic and got to give her a big hug. That was truly a great, great, great day. Laura went to jail, awaiting trial. We had the trial, and then she was acquitted. And at that point, she's capable of anything. I look over my shoulder every time I take my daughter to school. What's she going to do? Is she going to kill our daughter and herself and me? One of my fears is that if Laura had any kind of visitation to our daughter, she would just take off again. I never want to lose my daughter again. I'm not going to let that happen.
Okay, it's been 4 years since she was arrested. And when they arrested her in Utah, what was the condition and circumstance of the arrest as far as you understand? Was she, your daughter was in the car?
Yes.
What was the condition and shape of the car?
Oh, well, first of all, the vehicle was packed full of all kinds of objects and things like that. 2 dogs were kept in the vehicle. Food all over the place. Apparently there was, like the smell of milk and urine. And the reason that they had the U.S. Marshals had a great, rescue plan for my daughter. They found the opportunity when Laura left my daughter in the vehicle to go to a gas station. She left her in the vehicle by herself with the 2 dogs to go into a gas station. That's when the U.S. Marshals, rescued my daughter.
So they were tracking her?
Oh, yes.
So why not just pull her over? If they were following her, they knew she was in the car, so they knew she had the daughter. They wanted her. They wanted the daughter. They're following her. Why not just pull her over, arrest her, and take the daughter?
Because of the risk. She said that she would kill my daughter and herself before being caught. That's
the police believed that if they closed in,
yes,
that she would kill the child and herself.
And herself, yes. So there was a high risk of that happening because she had a gun with her.
So they felt like if they pulled her over, there was a good chance it would turn into a hostage situation and murder-suicide.
Yes, so
that was their belief.
That's exactly right.
So they waited until they had been monitoring her, they're following her. They waited until she left the car, then they quickly grabbed the child.
That's exactly
Once
right.
they had the child, they grabbed her.
Yes.
When they did take the child and her, and they searched the vehicle, was there a gun?
There was a gun, yes.
So why was she running?
Well,
what was going on that made her feel like she had to go off the grid?
Okay, well, she seemed to have this belief that everyone is out to molest our child. Everyone, Dr. Phil. I mean, I'm not the only person she's suspected of child molestation, and I'm not being over the top here. She truly believed everyone, including pediatricians.
What was it that you would do that made her believe you were a risk?
I mean, we got into arguments. We got into different arguments and stuff.
Are you a yeller? Are you a screamer? Are you a fighter? Are
yeah,
you? Well, I'm not asking about both of you. I'm asking about you.
Okay, yes, I would yell, I would scream, and I would say stupid things. And I did that.
So you told her if she went to the child custody hearing, she would not make it out alive, is what she's told us.
No, that's
that
not
if
true.
she
No.
went to court, if she showed up, she would not make it out alive.
No, good God, no.
Well, I'm just telling you what she told us.
Okay.
She said,
I believe she told you that.
She said, there's two things, that she could not go to court because if she went to court, you would either A, kill her, or B, flip the system, which she thinks you've now done, flip the system and take her daughter away from her.
How? They have security at the courthouse.
You said there were times that she would attack you.
Oh, very much so,
and physically
yeah, I had to go to
hit
the
you,
hospital, yes.
that you went to the ER several times.
Mm-hmm.
And you were very graphic about how she would hit you in the head, hit you in the face, break your glasses.
Ribs. She pushed me
and so
in the
you'd
door.
go to the ER. You either went to the ER because you were injured or you went to the ER because you were building a case and you wanted hospital documentation of the attacks.
I understand.
There's two reasons. You go one or two reasons.
Right.
And you were very graphic in telling us about her attacks on you, and then you kind of said, and there were times along there that I said stupid things. It was kind of, you were very vague about the stupid things you said, but you were very graphic about the stupid things she did.
Okay.
So fill me in about the stupid things you said.
The stupid things, and we've been through a lot of different marital counseling and stuff, and the stupid things I would say, and I know I shouldn't have said them, is like I would bring her family into it. Your father's an just call him a bunch of names. I call her mother a bunch of names, and, I would call her a bunch of names, and, I mean, I said, some very hurtful things and stuff. Why are you, messed up in the head? It was a very dumb thing to say, and I said it multiple times, and...
Were you a yeller?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was, yes. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to meet Laura and find out why she feels like she was forced to go on the run with her daughter. And understand, she was acquitted. She says, when I left, I had custody, and I was going because I feared for her life. And I'm going to let her tell us her point of view. No matter what, there's two sides to the story. We're going to hear the other side. We'll be right back.
I was charged with 3 counts of kidnapping and a count of interference with child custody. I had my gun with me for protection when we were fleeing. I was determined to protect my daughter.
And later...
You threatened to kill her.
Our daughter's health.
Threatened that we would not make it to that court hearing alive. You're terrorizing us.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, a teen obsessed
If there is no Wi-Fi, she'll start screaming.
with social media.
My phone's in my hand when I sleep.
Are you looking at it now?
Sorry.
We have taken away her phone. Her reaction is extreme.
I can't wait to see you on your deathbed.
What would you do if your phone just went away right now? You'd freak.
That's tomorrow.
The last time that I actually saw my daughter before Laura kidnapped her was at a fast food restaurant.
Joe started talking to our daughter about a mother who had drowned her children.
Laura was trying to explain to my daughter that sometimes parents have to kill their children in order to protect them.
When I was getting our daughter into her car seat, he leaned into our daughter's face and screamed at her, "Mommy's going to kill you."
I was terrified as to what Laura was going to do. I didn't know if I would ever see my daughter ever again.
Laura says she had no choice but to go on the run with her daughter several years ago. She says her estranged husband, Joe, was a violent man who threatened to kill her and their daughter, and no court order could stop him. But Joe says, no. It was Laura who was threatening to harm their daughter, not him. He says she even told the then toddler that sometimes parents, quote, have to kill kids to protect them. Now, we've heard from Joe. Now, here's what Laura has to say about the events that led up to her fleeing the state with their child.
Joe has done nothing but obstruct and harm the relationship between my daughter and I. Joe has repeatedly told me that he was going to kill me. He had threatened me with obtaining a gun from his father and with a knife. With the violence increasing, we fled. The only thing I could think of was putting distance between us. We headed to Utah because Utah had some very progressive laws on the books protecting children. In Utah, we were apprehended at the gas station. I was charged with 3 counts of kidnapping and a count of interference with child custody. I had my gun with me for protection when we were fleeing. I was determined to protect my daughter. After 2 days of trial, I was acquitted. I had every expectation of being able to see my daughter again after I was found not guilty. Instead, there was nothing but a wall of resistance. I am terrified that with coming forward, he's going to become vindictive, and that he's going to harm our daughter, that he'll kill her.
Okay, Laura, I'm going to give you a chance to kind of weigh in on all this, and you've been listening to everything so far, correct?
Yes, I have.
Joe has said that you made it clear you're not going to court, you're going off the grid, that when he got a lawyer, you said, you need to get rid of that lawyer, you need to drop this, or I'm gonna run off, and if they catch up to me, I'll kill her and myself.
Dr. Phil, you have to understand, my estranged spouse is a pathological liar. He turns around and flips everything he does onto myself, our daughter, anybody that he can blame for his behavior.
Do you have any proof about this pathological liar stuff? I mean...
Actually, I do. You turned around and accused me of having been 302'd, and it's on a police report. And I have never been 302'd. 302 in the state of Pennsylvania is an involuntary commit to a psychiatric ward.
I remember
I would not be able to have owned a gun had I been 302'd.
So going on the run.
So you lie to police officers.
You could have had it. If you went to court, all you had to do was show up to court, and then you had to
show up to court and have us killed by your father's 9mm gun that you professed that you were going to get and kill us with.
He doesn't even own a gun, for Christ's sake.
Time and again, you have threatened us with that. You've left my gun out for us to see, loaded on the bed.
That is not even true. Why didn't you show up to court?
They had to send you 6
letters to the house to say show up for court.
Of a domestic abuser.
Oh, well, then why didn't you show up? You got a temporary PFA against me that time. That was the first part of court.
You defrauded the county of Clearfield with your lies.
How?
How? By enacting a malicious prosecution against a woman who was trying to protect her child from you,
You didn't show
and
up to the
your
hearing
comments
for the love of everything
and your
good.
actions and your violent behavior in front of our daughter.
Laura,
Why did you go on the run?
Because I feared for our lives, Dr. Phil.
No, you wanted control is what you wanted. I'm terribly sorry.
No. You feared for your lives in that you thought if you showed up at the hearing, he would kill you at the courthouse?
Yes, he was tracking us across 3 counties. He made it known that if we showed up, he had pulled up in the back alley, and he had told me that if we showed up, that we would not, well, excuse me, he said if we attempted to show up, we would not make it to the hearing.
Look, the truth does not have versions.
Right.
You know, it's like you either pull up in an alley and say you will never make it to the hearing alive.
Why didn't you call the cops then?
Or you didn't. And I want to know, did that happen or did it not happen?
It did happen. He was driving his mother's car.
Okay, now, you say it did and you say it didn't.
If that happened, Dr. Phil, if I were in her position, I would call the police. I would say, hey, officer,
I didn't ask you what you would do if you were her. I'm just asking if you did it or you didn't.
I did not.
One of you's lying.
I fully agree with you. Fully agree with you.
One of you's lying. So I got parents that say they want help, that say they want reunification, but yet somebody's lying to me here.
All throughout our relationship, Laura did have some very bizarre conspiracy theories. She told me about these alien lizard people and how they work with the government.
And later, did you say that you were going off the grid, that if they closed in on you, you would kill your daughter and yourself?
All throughout our relationship, Laura did have some very bizarre conspiracy theories. She thought people were out to get her. There was a white truck at our neighbor's house where she thought that there were government officials in there monitoring everything she's doing. She told me about these alien lizard people and how they work with the government, and there's some sort of breeding program. She thought there was a neo-Nazi group going after her because she made a comment online. One of my many concerns that if Laura is allowed to speak with my daughter, is she going to pass on these very bizarre, unfounded beliefs?
You believed that there were alien lizards that were in a conspiracy with the government.
That was his attempt to discredit me, just
to work against you.
That was his attempt to discredit me, just as his comment to the police officer of me having a 302 in my history.
Did you ever believe there
No.
were lizard aliens
No.
in conspiracy with the
No.
government? He said there was you believe there was a neo-Nazi group that was after you.
No.
What about the computer hacker, my friend? Whenever you tried to get that civil protection order in Ohio against me, you said that I have a friend who is a computer hacker who hacked your security, hacked her phone company.
Actually,
went
what
into
I told them was I supplied them with a copy of my Facebook, and I showed them where he had contacted me.
If I need some help interviewing her...
I'm sorry.
You are the first guy...
I believe you.
...that I will put on the don't call list.
Okay. Okay.
Because you don't get answers, you make speeches.
Okay.
He said there was a box truck parked down the street, a white box truck, and you thought there were people in it watching you and monitoring you.
No.
Do you have paranoid ideation at times?
I am aware of stalking because of Joe and his efforts to have his friends keep track of me. If that's paranoid ideation, then I believe the government actually has a website on their DOJ to report group or gang stalking. So no, I don't believe that there's all kinds of people out there tracking me down. I believe it's very specific, linked to very specific individuals.
I have no one tracking her down, Dr. Phil.
Laura says she ran because she was in fear for their lives, but Joe insists he was the one being abused. In fact, he says he was the one who ended up in the ER 3 different times, all because of Laura.
Laura is a very violent person, very hostile, and I had to go to the hospital a few times.
I have been slapped. I had a knife held against my throat.
She pushed me into the kitchen door. I fell to the floor. It was extremely painful.
He had me in a bear hug, and I pushed off of him. He proceeded to slide down the door like he was having an epileptic fit. I realized that he was completely faking.
I went to the ER, and that's when they had said that I had bruised ribs. We were all driving along We got into an argument. She hit me right between the eyes. I was bleeding.
He claimed that I had physically assaulted him when, in fact, while I was driving, he turned around and grabbed me.
Laura said, we have to talk. She grabbed this large bone that she had bought for our 2 dogs. And she was holding it like a baseball bat. She said she was going to smash my scalp. Stood up. She wound it up like that. I pushed her through to get out.
I've never threatened to hurt him with a dog bone. That's ridiculous. I fully believe he's capable of self-harm in order to say that I did it to him.
She's capable of some very violent and horrible things.
Okay. Did you tell your daughter that sometimes parents have to kill kids to protect them?
No, I did not. And in fact, he's spinning that as well. We were at a restaurant, and
Did you tell her any version of that?
No, no, I did not.
Like that? Did
No.
you imply that maybe it would be him that would do it, or?
No. I have never told her anything about parents harming their children. That is not something you would tell a child.
That was the
That's
last time I saw
terrorizing
my
a child.
Until she was rescued.
Are you saying that he molested your daughter?
I'm saying I believe he did.
Do you believe that he was molesting your daughter and you didn't follow through with it?
He was going to kill us.
Oh, Jesus.
After having done this as long as I have, I'm really frustrated when people clearly have an agenda. I want to kind of look at the way you two just see history differently. Now, in '98, according to Laura, this was the first time that you say Joe slapped you, back in '98. Then in '99, you say Joe's getting really violent temper-wise and he's punching holes in the wall, right? Okay. Now, we jump forward now, and during this time, y'all have decided to get married. Were you in love?
No.
Why did you get married?
I believed that I was needed. I was having my loyalties, my belief system completely turned against me. And in retrospect, I can see that, but at the time, I did not. At the time, I thought that I was in a long-term relationship, and this person was part of my life, and he needed me.
I have a different perspective on that.
Really? Okay. Was there ever a time that you weren't a victim?
Early on, Dr. Phil, I'd been being abused for years.
Okay. Okay, so in '06, you thought a pediatrician molested your daughter?
No, that's Joe's terminology. We had a daughter. She was an infant. She was constipated at the time, and we were not presented with other options. I thought that there was something else that could have been.
She would have died. My daughter would have died.
There were other options that were
done.
available that we were not presented with.
But you didn't call it molestation?
No, I did not.
According to Laura, the daughter says, "Daddy ouched my butt." Are you saying that he molested your daughter?
I'm saying I believe he did.
And did you report that?
Yes, I did.
And was it investigated?
We were told to go for a forensic interview, and at that point,
Was it investigated?
there was no follow-through on that.
Okay, so you believe that he was molesting your daughter, and you didn't follow through with it?
No, because he was going to do the same thing he did in 2010. He was going to use the system against me and rip her away.
How did I use the system? I don't understand
He's had her
Well,
without
if you believe
anybody.
That, you believe that you were in peril at a hearing and you ran across 4 states. So if you believed he was
Because he
molesting
was going to
her-
kill us.
Oh, Jesus.
He was going to get his father's 9mm gun and
My dad
kill
doesn't
us.
own any weapons.
I'm just asking.
I had no, and I know this sounds like an excuse, but I had no eyewitness knowledge to him actually doing that. And that's what I was at war with myself as to whether it was actually going on or not.
So you weren't sure?
At the time, no, I wasn't sure.
All right. Accused me of it.
Now, according to Joe, Laura hits him in the chest and he goes to the ER. Then on the 20th of 09, according to Joe, Laura hits him in the head and he goes to the ER. Then 2/20 of 10, according to Joe, Laura puts a tracking device on his phone. Then on March 1st of 2010, according to Joe, Laura hits him in the face and he goes to the ER. How many stitches did you get each of these times?
I received no stitches, Dr.
Okay, and how many times were you admitted for treatment?
I was treated and released.
You were treated and released?
Yes.
In 6/20/10, according to Laura, Joe starts custody proceedings. And according to Joe, Laura says, drop the custody proceedings or, quote, I will go off the grid with the daughter. And in the summer, according to Joe, Laura threatens to smash his skull. And then in December, according to Laura, Joe tells the daughter, Mommy's going to kill you. And according to Joe, Laura tells daughter, sometimes parents have to kill kids to protect them. You say you didn't say that.
I did not say that.
Did you say that you were going off the grid and that if the police got after you, which you knew they would, that if they closed in on you, you would kill your daughter and yourself?
I did not, Dr. Phil. I never threatened my daughter's life.
All right, we have to take a quick break. When Laura went on the run, she hid out at her sister Jean's house for 2 weeks. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
She's lying to cover up the fact that her husband walked in on my daughter bathing twice, and she did nothing.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, a teen obsessed
If there is no Wi-Fi, she'll start screaming.
with social media.
What would you do if your phone just went away right now?
That's tomorrow.
A statement from Laura's sister, Jean, September 14th of this year. Laura says she stayed with her sister, Jean, for 2 weeks while she was on the run with her child. During that time, Jean says she witnessed some behavior from her sister that had her terrified. She said, quote, in February of 2011, my sister Laura showed up at my house unexpectedly. She stayed with me for 2 weeks while she was on the run with my niece. Laura told me she would have no problem turning a gun on her daughter and then herself if she saw police approaching her. The same day she was arrested, Laura choked my husband, loaded a gun, and said she wouldn't hesitate to shoot him during an argument. My niece was cowering in the corner and saw the whole thing. After Laura was arrested, I was cleaning out her car and found a rifle behind the back seat that the JCAT team missed. Now, Jean is joining us on the phone right now. Jean, are you there?
Yes, I am, Dr. Phil.
I have asked her straight up, did she or did she not say that if the police were closing in on her, she would take a gun, kill her daughter, and then herself rather than be captured? She said she never said that to Joe or anyone.
She has said that, Dr. Phil.
So she said that to you?
Yes, and my husband was
She's
right
lying.
there in the same room.
She's lying to cover up the fact that her husband walked in on my daughter bathing twice, and she did nothing. And that we were leaving,
you know
and that
that's
we
not
were
true.
leaving because he had attacked me. And in fact, my photos on Google show where his fingers left a bruise, and the records at Salt Lake County Jail also reflect the fact that he attacked
no,
me
that is not
less than a
right.
foot away.
You know
And the
that.
reason why she's lying is because there are laws in Utah, and he could be jailed.
Well, you're saying...
And not only that, but she has turned around and colluded
what about
with
the
him.
terroristic threat you made
She
to my
turned
husband,
around
which I
and
did not
colluded with him,
push charges?
trying to take the vehicle. She called my parents' house when I was out on bail and wanted $1,500.
What were you arrested for?
I was arrested for the malicious charges he pressed against me.
For?
Kidnapping. Interference
for these charges?
for interference with child custody. Yes. Yeah. And
Dr. Phil,
there is
Let me ask you this. Did you ever fight with her husband?
Did I ever fight with her husband? Yes. He had me pinned up against the wall by my throat. And when I heard my daughter screaming and I looked down, she was a foot away from me.
Did you put the gun down to choke him back?
There was no gun involved.
There was a gun
There was
there,
no
Dr.
gun
Phil.
involved.
It was a pistol.
It was in a locking gun case.
She was arguing with my husband. Then that's when she made the terroristic threat that she would kill him, and also her daughter. If the police came in herself.
Dr. Phil, I did turn around and state that if he, after throwing him off me, that if he ever came near my daughter again, that there would be physical harm. Yes, I did. I did mention that. Yes, because
so if you ever come near my daughter again, there will be physical harm.
I said if you ever come near my daughter again, that I'm going to hurt you. That's what I said.
You said you would kill him, not hurt.
You sound a lot like you're colluding stories with my ex. And in fact, the fact that you tried to take possession of a vehicle because of your economic circumstances, you tried to capitalize and take possession of a vehicle that you are on tape.
You are wrong.
You are on tape.
I have not been in contact with Joe
This is
at all
the
for about the last
insanity
few
of
years.
my
So how
family
can
of
I
origin.
end up
This
being
is
in
why
collusion with
I
Joe?
turned around and cut all contact with them. My
You chose
sister,
to go stay with her for 2 weeks.
She was my last hope. She was my last hope.
I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen here, and we're going to meet attorney and child advocate Areva Martin, who has some words for this whole situation when we come back.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
Well, just this morning, Joe gave us a voicemail recording from Laura from 4 years ago. It depicts a different side of Laura that just indicates to me that there's just a lack of insight here.
Next message. Withholding marital affection is ground for divorce. So go yourself, because we are getting divorced. You're psychologically abusing, emotionally abusing, physically abusing, financially abusing. We are getting divorced, and I am going to somebody else because I am moving on with my life. She's going to have a sibling without you. Off. I will never shed another tear over your piece of white trash ass. Somebody that would let their child stand out in the cold doesn't deserve a child. Die.
That was not done around our child. I know I'm qualifying, but that was not done around our child.
You guys are running these agendas here, and your daughter's paying for it. Do you not get that?
I have been robbed of my daughter's first day at class. I have been robbed of my daughter's.
Laura.
I have been robbed of being there when she was sick. I have been robbed of being there for her birthdays. You have taken our daughter and completely skewed her perspective of her mother.
Jesus, because you threatened to kill her.
You threatened to kill her.
Our daughter's health.
Threatened that we would not make it to that court hearing alive.
Laura, why have you not gotten an attorney and set up at least supervised visitation in 4 years?
After I was acquitted, I was destitute. I went through a period of long-term homelessness, Dr. Phil.
Okay, attorney and child advocate Ariva Martin has been listening to the show so far, and I know she has some advice for these parents. Ariva, you cannot tell me that there are not services available to assist this woman with an attorney to go to court and just represent her long enough to get an order for supervised visitation to see her child in 4 years.
You're absolutely correct, Dr. Phil. And in fact, the court order in this case that's still standing says that you have the right to see your child with supervised visits. They have to be set up. You could be sitting in a jail cell. Instead, you're out. You got a second chance to get this right. Don't blow it.
At this point, she can start building this relationship back with her daughter and having visitation on a supervised level. That can happen within a matter of days. And then you need some help. You need some psychological help in getting yourself back on track. I'm going to set you up with Doctor on Demand. And this is a way we offer medical services and psychological services where you can sit right there in the privacy and comfort of your own home at an appointed time with a board-certified doctoral level therapist that I will hand pick for you that will start saying, all right, what do we need to do to begin rebuilding your parent plan? Our gift to you, okay?
Thank you.
If you at home want to have your own Doctor on Demand, go to Google Play Store or the iTunes App Store and download the Doctor on Demand app. Next, how you at home can win the experience of a lifetime, spending the day walking in my wife Robin's shoes. Okay? You'll find out what I mean after the break. Dr. Phil Community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. Now, before we say goodbye, I want to remind you that Robin's Foundation, When Georgia Smiled, recently partnered with an amazing company called Omaze.
Yes, and I am so excited because Omaze allows people to help their favorite charities with as little as a $10 donation with a click of a button.
Fans of various stars can donate to win some really great experiences like walking the red carpet or getting a set visit to their favorite show. Now, Robin's fans get a chance to win something really special called Walk a Day in Robin's Shoes.
That's right. I'm going to treat the winner and a guest to Hollywood, an experience filled with glitz and glam, a behind-the-scenes look at the studio, and the chance to make Dr. Phil Show history by being the first fan to accompany us on our signature walk-off.
Yeah. That sounds like fun, right? Robin and I even came up with a few new ideas for our walk-off to shake things up.
Yes.
And we showed them the other day, just, kind of for fun.
Yes, yes. Now, we made all the hula hooping and motorcycle riding look easy, but that was the magic of editing.
You're on camera, so you have to look excited. We have to ride scooters, and she says she knows how to ride hers.
Oh, there's a curve.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you want to practice it? Because it's probably going to be on the news tonight.
We are rolling, just in case this works.
I left you in the dust.
Which former prop guy didn't turn mine on?
Oh, please don't wreck it.
one more time because I'm so big that you can't see Robin behind me.
Because I was like, hold on, wait for me.
Seriously. Well, they may not have all been perfect, but we did have a lot of fun trying them out. We did a lot of different things.
Yes,
Some of even
we
all of
did.
them.
We had so much fun.
Look, remember, all it takes is a $10 donation to earn like 100 chances to win. And this is all for charity. You know, we don't talk about that enough. This goes for the prevention of domestic violence and the support of children that get caught in domestic violence situations.
Yes. And I have to tell you, I also have even more great news to share because there are ways to increase your chances of winning by donating more.
So if you donate $50, you get 500 chances to win. If you donate $100, you get 1,000 chances to win, and so on and so on.
You can go to omaze.com/Robin to see the full auction list. The more you donate, the more chances to win, and the more special prizes you get, like this super cute and comfy T-shirt I designed.
Okay, so go to omaze.com/Robin, where you can help women affected by domestic violence by donating to Robin's Omaze Experience Walk a Day in Robin's Shoes. And those T-shirts are cool. I looked pretty hot in that T-shirt last night. Thanks to all my guests today. We'll see you next time.